Here's the thing. I don't like this. This is not fun. It's a bad full moon.
Oh no.
Have you ever been victimized by New Age spirituality?
We've been we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
You're gonna want to listen up.
I'm Megan, an intuitive life coach and Reiki master.
I'm Ryan, a professional astrologer, and we want to show you what spirituality is by talking about what it is not.
Con artist,
Yes,
snake oil salesman.
there are so many susceptible people out there.
And then they're tainted, they're ruined. They don't want to come back to spirituality.
We still have a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves and learn, I think, every freaking day. This is Clairannoyance.
A podcast of spiritual interference.
Trick or treat, bitch. What are you going to be for Halloweeny?
I don't know. I've got such an arsenal. I've been selling some Halloween costumes, but I always go for the scandalous variety.
I know you do. I know you do. I can't.
If there is, I take any and all. I seize any and all opportunity to not wear pants in public, and so any sort of costume I can. Now, I did regret that last year because I did a boxing event and I didn't wear pants to it, and so like my butt cheeks were like flapping. There was too much jiggle going on, and I didn't like it. Mistakes were made. So in physical activity, I think that thing needs to be contained, but otherwise.
Most people like work for a summer body. Megan's like, I'm working for a Halloween body, bitch.
Anytime that I can wear a costume, I'm in. It was a lot more reckless when I drank, which I'm in better shape now, obviously. So, when you're wasted, you really don't care if you have pants on. And when you're not wasted, it's like you got to read the room a little bit more, So, what about you? What are you gonna wear? What are you gonna be?
I don't know. You got me now thinking about pantsless options.
The way to go.
The way to go. Well,
You
especially
feel
if you're
so free.
no, for sure. I think especially in West Hollywood, like damn, that is definitely
Yeah.
the fewer clothes the better, apparently. I don't know. I was like, literally just trying to remember what I was doing last year, and I cannot fucking remember. 2 years ago, I was a vampire, a good-looking vampire. I had like, it just was good. I don't know. I
Good
have no idea.
looking, not just
I,
a regular one.
I got like fangs on Amazon, like that, like where like, you put the teeth in with like cement in your,
Mm.
so they looked like really real. And then I just like had like a nice, like refined amount of blood dripping from my mouth. And then I just
Mhm.
had like a really suave, like cool outfit, like black, like gothic, but like
You
upscale
weren't you weren't a
outfit.
hobo vampire.
No, I was a rich vampire.
Yeah. You were coming from 1770s manicured full
Yeah.
bush. Just kidding.
Fuck yeah.
I don't remember what you did last year either. Trying to think.
I was just trying to I was talking about this with one of my friends. I cannot remember what I did. I was like, was I even in town at that point? I don't know.
I would go back through your text messages.
That's a lot of scrolling.
True. Well, then you really don't care that much.
I don't. I don't think I do. And I don't know that I care about this year either. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just not in I don't know. Technically, as of recording this, it's not October yet, so I'm still not fully in the mood. Oh my God. I saw the funniest video of this like gay guy
Mhm.
in West Hollywood, of course. And he was like decorating for Halloween, and he like just opens up his front door and it's like smelling the fall air. And he like places a pumpkin down, but then like echoing far off in the distance is the Mariah Carey Christmas song. Just like a little blurb of it. And he's
Oh,
like,
I saw
no, not
that.
yet. Not
Yeah.
yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Ah, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I love that because that song came out when I was in fourth grade. And I have a reoccurring dream that usually hits in November. it makes no sense, this dream. There are a few components. It changes, but one of it is that I have to do a performance. Now, of Mariah Carey's
Oh my
All I Want
God.
for, and but bonus, it's always at the Waffle House.
Why?
I don't
What
know.
happened to you?
I don't know. I think it's just like, hit it. Because they still have they still have jukeboxes at the Waffle House, and you go in there, especially the one on like Long Point Road after a long night of like drinking, and you just go in there, you get your fun hats, and have a feeling that I have maybe not sung that song, but I have definitely given people a performance of some other songs I don't remember, and I also there's no video evidence. So I'm not sure, but I just feel like it's something I've done. I know that used to be in my spot before I would then, roll home.
God, I don't remember the last time I went to a Waffle House. Wow.
It's a Southern staple.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a Midwest thing too, I think, a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
It was my mom's birthday yesterday, and my dad in the middle, she had asked about, she's like, "Oh, are you still recording your podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're on like 60 episodes." And she was like, "Oh, I'm a little behind." And then my dad turns on um the one where we were talking about me being a walking risk, and I was like, because I was like, "Oh God, which one are you gonna randomly put on?" And I don't like hearing my own voice in front of people. Like when people are listening, I can listen
oh
to
yeah.
myself, but like in front of other people. And anyway, they were like, they're from Upper Michigan. They're like, "Is that a Midwestern accent that I detect from?" It's like,
Oh my God.
show enough.
Show
Illinois,
enough.
baby. Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Represent. All right. So we're here to talk about the astrology of October. Per usual, Ryan has come up with a theme, origins. We've got stories, and we've got some
Yeah,
placements. You did a good
it's
job.
thanks. It's not as like crazy in depth as like normal, to be honest. Because the month's
No.
a little like touch and go. There's definitely like a couple like really tense things this month, but there's
Right.
also like some really sweet, beautiful things. So it's another mixed bag kind of month. It's not one of those months that's like your life is about to be upended. But I don't know because we're still in eclipse season.
Yeah.
Truthfully, who knows? Like I don't knock on all the wood around you. Um, the theme, like I'm not tying it to like a bunch of books and shit. I mean, I don't know. I'll get to like a couple things a little bit, but really, um, it's a theme I proposition like as a question almost, like in various question forms. It's a theme I'm throwing out to look at from a couple angles to just ponder and question within yourself. What is
Hmm.
this for me? This as the month goes along, because it's Libra season. So we're going to talk a little bit about Libra energy in the context of this. And Libra is a questioner. They will probe. It's a cardinal air sign, so it starts a season, so it's gonna ask a fucking question.
You know what? That is so true about Libras. Because my mom will ask she asked 400 questions and she was deeply invested. They're also always scanning. They're scanning for inconsistencies. Okay. Like, is there a drop in your tone? They're going to note it. They might not say anything, but they're putting it back in their pocket to assassinate you at a later date.
I know you're like, I was like interested to talk to you because you have like a thing for Libras.
I
Like,
love, yeah, Scorpios and Libras. It's like they're my greatest loves and menaces, like
yeah,
because they're all around me. I mean, my mom's a Libra. I was raised by one. There's a very big difference between September and October. Uh, you know, Libras. So yes, I'm well equipped in the realm of
yeah.
Libras.
It's an interesting sign. Like a lot of people, I feel like one of the most common phrases that I hear generally when people are talking about astrology is why does anybody talk about how Libras are actually like total fucking villains of the zodiac? And I'm like, okay, well, everybody's talking about it. Clearly, you're all saying nobody's talking about it, but everybody says it. I think it's interesting because they're actually, it's the sign of congeniality and peacekeeping and diplomacy. And it can do all these things, but it can only do those things because it inserts itself in very imbalanced situations. So, but it does have that power to like bridge things, but it's like it is a forceful bridging. So people, and it's as we discussed before, Virgo last month is the final sign of the first half of the zodiac, the final sign of self-development and
Mhm.
self-awareness and all that. And so Libra is the first sign of the second half. It's the thing that's outside of the self. And so it's our introduction to that. Opposite Aries. Aries is I am. Here's me and my character. And so naturally you're gonna look at Libra energy as opposing the self. So villain, right? Like you think of it as like it's a sign of
Mhm.
judgment. It rolls judges in the legal system. And so you look at it like, fuck, like even if they're like being kind and just wanting to get to know you or something, you're still feeling that like thing
They will
outside
tell you
yourself looking at
about
you.
yourself too. Like if you come at them, first off, you better have the Carfax. Okay. Like don't be coming all wishy-washy with these people because you better have the Carfax. You better have proof. If they're that and they will tell you, I mean, like, you want to be humbled. I mean, and with the quickness, you're like, damn, dude, like, how did this happen? Especially male Libras. Whew.
I think the male version of every sign, just men, boys, they ruin everything.
I will say though, I think that Pisces men are true terrorists.
Oh, I know.
What's been happening lately with I'm like, oh, I mean, because yeah, yeah. So then it's an undercover villain, you know. So we might
Yes.
talk about other, but I'll tell you, I'm Pisces man, and I'm a Pisces woman, but like the stuff that these fuckers are capable of, and we're so delusional that they really believe everything that they're doing.
Yes.
So, and that's the
Yes.
issue. So that they're convincing. Oh no. Mm-mm. So
I know. I'm excited to get to like Pisces season now that we're going to go like going through the zodiac, which I should have just started this like whole way of doing it in Aries season, start of the zodiac. We kind of talk about, I don't know. It was like a couple months ago though, where I decided like I want to start talking about the signs in context of where they fall in the zodiac. Whatever, whatever, whatever.
yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. Okay, so the month theme is the hill to die on, which again is like I'm thinking of this from all sorts of angles. Um, so it, origin wise or whatever, it does come from that like military type of
Mhm.
strategy, right? Like just seeking higher ground and defending or capturing something, even if it's to the death. So yeah, it's like got a literal warfare kind of background to it, but it also then has evolved over time to be like more of a metaphorical use. Like, what are you willing to die for? Like, what's that hill you're dying on? Um, so there's like pros and cons, like in most things, like it gives you good, I think, beliefs and principle. Like if you have a hill to die on, you're like, here's my negotiables and non-negotiables. Like I am immovable in this, and I believe
Mhm.
in this, and that's cool to have that sort of like conviction or commitment to something. But
I was about to say hard but though, you know.
yeah, yeah, and many buts. It's like there's a lot of personal sacrifice that can come with maintaining such a position that you're willing to die
It's
for, you
rigid.
know?
It's rigidity. And like that
Hmm.
is a because a lot of times then you become so steadfast in those beliefs that there's zero flexibility. And you can see it in these people's hips, you know, like,
Totally. It's all in their hips.
you
I
know,
just look at
like
their hips and I'm like, you're a
rigid,
Libra. Just kidding.
rigid.
No, I
But yeah,
know.
it's a rough one.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, okay, it's like it's good for setting boundaries, right? Like if you know that hill you're gonna die on, you're like, I'm not compromising on this. Like this is who I am and what I stand for, and I like that. But like then on the other side, and like people who have that, like when you have like a principle or a belief that you're so sturdy in, or that it anchors you in this way, those are people who tend to experience more of a sense of like purpose and meaning in life, which is nice. Who doesn't like
True.
want that, you
Yeah.
know? But it does cause stubbornness if you're like really unwilling to compromise. Like sometimes it's like the wiser choice is to compromise or, meet in the middle or something.
Play the
Like,
long game. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like, again, ethical in many ways. Like, how, up to what extent? I mean, to death. Like, that's, I guess, the point here is like, but was it worth it? Like, if it harmed other people, like your stance, if it caused tons of injustices and like hurt people who love you and they're confused why you're up on that hill, like
Yeah.
there can be problems with this whole thing. And so like honestly, there's just like a lot of ways. I'm not gonna like go into like everything here, but like there's just a lot of like questions and ways to view this as the month goes on. It's gonna be different for everybody, but it's like, what is your hill to die on? What is that hill? I think most people probably have some level of a hill in the moment where they're like, nobody will move me on this. Like this is my
Yeah.
standing right now, you know? But when does that change? Because we evolve and our morals and principles and values and whatever, what the things we stand for change. But then also, what if the hill isn't yours? What if somebody told you that was a hill that you needed to stand on? So you were conditioned by something to believe in this, but it's not
AKA
real.
religion. Yeah.
Yes, huge hill, right?
Racism. Yeah, because you weren't born a racist. Somebody told you that,
Hmm.
that you, because of your skin color, you think you're better than someone else, or that your chosen people. It's just so wild to me. Only this group is going to go to the goals. It's like, what? What about the rest of us? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What the fuck? Oh, okay. Um, well, and like then look at like past hills that you've died on. We die many times. And I think that's important to look at. Like, when have you held your ground on something to the death and it didn't work out for you? Or when
Oh
did
yeah,
it work out?
but yeah, sometimes it's necessary, but that's why if I get really, really triggered now I'm like, let me circle back. Let me get back to you. And I don't like if you try and put me in a corner or if you try and tell me what to do, like I don't even care what you're propositioning me. It could be the greatest opportunity for both of us. If I am made to feel it's a no, because like I need time to assimilate. Give me time. I'm a reasonable person, but I will not be told what to do ever. Like
No.
I will compromise with you, but because there's a power play. I mean, you're a manifestor in human design. Do you feel that way? Because the minute I buck up, I'm like, all right, watch this fucker. And that's when I'm like, oh no, I can't be watch this fucker right now. So, no, thank you.
It's weird, like, because some of that is the boundary setting stuff too, that being on a hill can teach you. Like, like I'm not gonna come down there like to your level and whatever. But it it is interesting because like you can still get what you want and compromise. It's just like a different version of what you want, maybe, but like there will be those steps that over compromise all of a sudden. Like, what is that? It's the line in the sand. It's the same kind of deal here. I'm just calling it a hill and for specific reasons.
Yeah. I think it's important. I'm like, I'm reasonable, but it's like, listen, the freedom that I require for myself, I also give others. So, because I think that's where a lot of people get into like, you must respect my boundaries, you must respect my freedom. But then that doesn't want to be, you don't want to grace or you don't want to compromise and give that to other people. That's called being a hypocrite. And that's where it's like, no, if I expect this from any relationship, friendship, whatever business standing, then I say this because this happened this morning where I was canceling a membership and they were I had to do an exit interview for this place that I was a member of. And I was like, yeah, like I'm moving. It's not going to work. And I get it. You don't want to lose, your dues because they're quite hefty. But it was like, finally, the owner was like, well, I can see I'm not going to convince you. And I was like, I mean, I was starting to get irate because I'm like, like I'm already grace. I said I didn't want to be a member anymore. I've given you constructive criticism. Is that time is and I mean, nice guy, I get it, but it was like then all of a sudden you feel like that desperate energy, and that's even more repellent, where it's like, talk to me. Desperate energy is a repellent in every scenario, whether it be dating, business, friendship. You come off as desperate, which is really sad, like you're toast.
Desperation feels like such a Libra word.
Ooh.
Honestly, because there is that desperate, there's such a knowingness of the other person. Sorry, that one just hit. That's a good word for Libra, I feel like. Like the desire so badly to want to work it out with something outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that word just totally hit. That was a good word. I don't think I've ever
And they
considered
also,
that.
Libras need to take care of things too. Like they have to have like purpose outside of themselves. Like every Libra I know who doesn't have like something to like nurture, which is whether it's family, animals, significant other, children, a business. But there's got to be that they need something to nurture and then mutually like benefit them, like give them gratification, like you're doing good. These typically are not solo creatures.
No, like they're here to partner. It's like the evolutionary purpose of
They're
Libra
love bugs.
energy.
Yeah, they're love bugs. And so if you meet a mean one, and that's the thing, Libra men, they're love bugs, like Libra women, beautiful, but they are, but so when you meet a mean one, they've been hurt bad, boy.
Yeah, totally, totally, totally. And they've but sometimes they've hurt themselves a little bit sometimes, right? Like they've
Oh yeah, yeah.
overcompromised and like had false expectations in like a relationship or whatever. Libra and Pisces technically don't see eye to eye, like they're in each other's blind spot, but they both have a tendency to over idealize or over romanticize
Yes,
relational things. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So that's a
Absolutely.
little bit of a conundrum. Um, So I just really now want to talk about it in context of Libra, like as we're kind of going through the signs in the zodiac and what's Libra's developmental process and blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
What uh like where does Libra fall, right? And the sign before it, Virgo, which we discussed last month. If you missed it, go listen for a deep dive on Virgo.
Mhm.
Libra, it's the scales, right? It wants to balance the scales. It's in the middle of the zodiac. It literally balances the zodiac. Um, I'm calling this month, back up before I get like hyper into Libra. I'm calling this month also the hill to die on, right? Because that's such a like forceful energy, isn't it? Like I'm gonna
Mhm.
die on this. And all the cardinal signs are lit up this month. All four, the signs that start a season: Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, all of them. So there's a lot of like forceful, aggressive, assertive opinion
Ah.
stuff. Like, yeah, it's just like ugh. It could be a lot like battles of the wills and stuff. So, yeah, which can like obviously make compromise or diplomacy very difficult. Like, you're on that hill, I'm on this hill. We're not fucking meeting in the middle. You come to my hill, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like that kind of weird combative energy to it. So there's just that. There's a lot of cardinal energy. But then the North Node, South Node storyline is very lit up now. The North Node is in Aries, which is about self-development and individuation and who am I? I am. And that's what we're growing into. But I think we've been in this for over a year now. The nodes are going to change in January. So we're kind of like wrapping up this storyline coming to it now.
Hmm.
But then the South Node in Libra, which is a decrease of peace, a decrease of diplomacy, and a decrease of people pleasing and compromising yourself. We still need to integrate Libra. It's just we're getting rid of the worst of it. But now with Libra energy highlighted so much, we're definitely looking at like where we've maybe struggled in relationship or partnership with anything. Libra is the sign of relationship, right? It's like we're in relationship with all sorts of things, like real, animate,
Yeah.
inanimate. Um, but it will be lit up. And so I think we could even see where we've hyper individuated like too much. I've stood on that hill and it's like cost me a relationship or something. And was it worth
Mm-hmm.
that personal sacrifice? And then there's also Pluto and Capricorn, which I think is like a funny energy tied into this because Pluto is moving direct this month. We'll kind of briefly mention that when we get to it, but it's at the very end of Capricorn. Capricorn is the mountaintop, it's like bigger than a hill. And with Pluto, long standing storylines, and same with Capricorn. So Pluto is at the very end of Capricorn, where it will never be again. Once November comes around, it's going to move back into Aquarius, and your grandchildren will never experience Pluto and Capricorn. So there's this big hill that we have been climbing for really the past like 15 years, and Pluto and Capricorn's like pronouncing it even. And Pluto's the planet of death. So it's like, are you dying on a hill right now? And is it a big ass hill? And is it really that pivotal for you? So maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe you're dying and like as you're taking your final breaths on this hill and like something in your life is crumbling, a relationship and whatever, a job, it's like the energy even of like
Mm-hmm.
fighting with your boss out of like moral standing or something. Like you're mad that your boss works one way and you're like, you're stupid, I know better. And you're dying on that hill and you're maybe gonna get let go now because you just chose to do that. Is it worth it? Is it worth the sacrifice that may need to come? So Pluto and Capricorn is like a very big pronounced energy that kind of like I think over or like adds to this. And when you
Mm-hmm.
think of the zodiac, if Capricorn's that tip top of the
Mm-hmm.
mountain, Libra is like over off to the side, like at a right angle to it. But those first signs, six signs, it's the self. And so once you hit Libra, it's like the start of the hill, like Libra kind of has a hill to die on, but like we're, I don't know, there is this energy of working up toward a hill. So if you don't have a hill, if you're like, I don't know what I stand for, you might be figuring it out this month. There's many ways like view this. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
looking at Libra energy and why I really, really picked this, is because again, it comes after Virgo. So it now knows the self. It's got self mastery and self development on lock. Like, here's me. But then Libra comes and it's like, but the me I know is not just for me, it's for something bigger than me, something outside of me. So it is like a hill. This is like that. I'm going to go stand up on this now. Like, look at me, I'm on display. Like here's who I am, and I'm gonna proclaim it to the world outside of me. Um, so in order to do that, the Virgo part of you, self-mastery, should be pretty finessed. If you're just like flippantly running up on a hill and claiming some weird ass thing that you haven't really thought about, like
Don't
get
do
off the
that.
fucking hill. Get off the hill. You have not practiced that or thought about it like a Virgo would. So make sure that like that Virgo energy is really wrapped up in you when you're looking at like the hills this month. But then it's every sign, has the foresight of the sign after it that's coming next, right? What's next? Scorpio, the
Mm-hmm.
sign of death. So really, you're on that hill staring at death. And I think there is this feeling in Libra. It is all about like what's just, what's fair, what's good, bad, right, wrong. Like it really does look at dichotomies. And in a different way than like Gemini. Gemini is the first air sign, but it is a contradiction and it allows contradictions to coexist. And it's like, whatever. Libra then comes in and Libra can see the contradictions, but Libra's like, but can we blend that? Like, can it not be
Mm-hmm.
two competing ideas or a paradox? Like Libra wants, it's ruled by Venus, and so it seeks symmetry, it seeks beauty, it wants an idea or an opinion to make sense and have like, yeah, it needs to look good. I always think of the episode we did with Michaela, our beauty episode. If anybody has not
Mm-hmm.
listened to it, really amazing episode, like that just changed the idea of beauty. It's like the energy of beauty. But Michaela always talked about how, like in the olden days, I don't know, Rome or something, I'm probably misremembering, but they would literally build structures like colosseums or whatever in a beautiful way, like things had to stand in a way that made sense
Yeah.
with shapes, because there is a sense of beauty, and beauty is right. Michaela said that. So Libra is really interesting because it's not just ruled by Venus, which does lend the gentleness to it, the congeniality, the charming nature of a Libra, the social etiquette that a Libra can have. Like it can be polite, even if
Hmm.
it's got a forceful opinion. It's not gonna be a total fucking dick about it. Um, but people still call them villains because it's still opposing you,
I was
technically.
about to
Well,
say,
you
unless
know,
you come, if you don't come respectfully, then you're
mhm.
toast.
I
Like these
know.
people can ruin a room like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, like it's a
And
true
they know it.
gift. Oh, it's a superpower. Yeah. I mean, and will not hesitate. But that's the thing too. It's like they get it's very rarely out of pocket. Like they're not going to just snap on you to snap. It is they were like, "Hey, how are you? How, like what's going on?" Like or they hold a door and then you don't say thank you. And then it's like, "Well, fuck you too." Like when it's like, "Whoa," or it's like, "Hey, excuse me, may I?" And then it goes from zero to like, "All right, watch this." And so those scales, we think scales is balancing, but those scales are never balanced. They're going back and forth. They are teeter-tottering like a son of a gun.
Yeah, they vacillate, or even
Hmm.
like when they have an opinion, again, like Venus is like arts, so they can be like a little prissy sometimes. Um, and it's like, it's like it'll have an opinion sometimes, but like in the nature of keeping the peace at first, at least, it doesn't always assertively give its opinion. It's going to ask questions to get yours first to see if it can marry them. If it disagrees, because they do have stances, people call them indecisive sometimes, but they have opinions. But it's like if I were to, art Venus, like if I were to be like, oh, Megan, like this is a really interesting song. What do you think the meaning is? Like that this artist, you know, developed in this song. You might be like, I feel like it's like about this. If I wasn't thinking that as a Libra energy would be like, oh, well, I think it's actually about this. And they might know. Like they might already know that the artist wrote it for a specific reason, but they still wanted you to guess what it
Hmm.
was. And if you're wrong, they're gonna
Hmm.
be like, right, wrong. Like that's the like I'm going to correct that. Coming out of Virgo, it knows how to correct, it knows how to be critical, it knows how to do that stuff, and it's going to judge if you're quote unquote wrong or whatever. But anyway, it's also, so it's ruled by Venus, yes, but signs have planets that are exalted in them, meaning you get the
Hmm.
best of that planet. Saturn is exalted in Libra. So that's where the judge comes in,
Whoa.
the attorney, the lawyer, right? They're going to die on a hill. They're going to defend their client like to the death.
Yeah.
So there's that serious energy to it of like, I'm not giving up. Like you use the word rigid. That is this. That is it's rigid to like have that hill to die on. Like in many cases, Libra can be that rigid type of person. Um, and Saturn's the planet of
It's so funny
rigidity.
you say that because like my mom and I, we don't really fight, but when we do, they are like 6-month battles. And I say like where like there has to be like an intervention process from other people. Cause like I'm just as stubborn. I mean, so like Saturn, I'm a Capricorn rising, so Saturn rules mine. And there was like one time I called it, it was like the great purple backpack. And it was a 6-month throwdown over a Jan Sport, a
Oh my
purple.
God.
And it
Sounds
was,
worth it.
and fine, and like bless it, my brother, who's a Taurus, is usually because my dad's always like, God, it's my wife and my daughter, like this is the time, and he's a Capricorn, but he's like, he's got his Mars in Cancer, so he's like, I'm just gonna go over. And normally he's so forceful with things, but not in this instance. And here comes my brother. He's got that sweet finesse spot with my mom, because like they just have a very special bond. He's able to like break that stubborn wall. And also he does it with me. So Ian's been like this finesser, so to speak. So yeah, I mean they are and then when those fights happen, I'm like, oh God, no. Cause it, like it it's tough because there is no compromise. There is no like we're here. So hill to die on is an excellent theme.
I think so too. I really, really, really do. And it's like, I don't know, especially because Libra's going to do what's right, like there is this moral judgment feeling to it, and it involves other people. Like this is also why I'm saying like a hill, because it feels like a bigger thing than you, and Libra inherently is about others. So I want to say if there's a hill you're dying on this month, it's most likely not just a personal matter. It is something that involves other people and influences them.
Hmm.
So is it for the good of everyone? What is good in this scenario? Is there a way to win-win? Libra wants to find a win-win. And I think like for a variety of reasons, but I feel like a lot of times like the right hill this month, if you're going to die on one or whatever, and it involves other people, it is the energy of like making the right choice, like kind of for someone else. Obviously, we can't do a whole lot for other people, but like it's like making the right choice for someone else. And they may dislike that you've done this, like, or you've made
But
this
in the
choice, but
long run,
it's
it's
better.
better for them. Yeah. So they
Yes.
might not like the immediate, which on yeah.
And
It's
it's
like
like that.
what like when a love interest is like, listen, I'm holding you back, or like you need to
Mhm.
go to school and you got to move and you're gonna
Yeah.
stay here for me and I can't have that, so I'm gonna break up with you. And then it's like, oh,
Hmm.
very Notebook
Yes.
style.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. For sure. And like, I also think there's this feeling of like with this, there can be the rejection. Like if it directly impacts somebody like that, right? Like someone you're in direct relationship with, they may disagree with like your hill. But there can also be like hills that you die on that you're like, this is right. And it can do really good things like that, right? In the long run. But it's the unsung hero vibe that I get.
Mm,
Opposite this is Aries, the hero, the warrior. Libra's the opposing one. It's like the unnoticed hero. So I think that like you choosing a moral high ground, right? If it benefits everybody, whether they like it or not, be prepared to not be identified as the one who made the right decision or who harmonized this situation. Libra is not going to get that credit, often.
you're
So
right.
I think that's another one. It's like, but I think that's
And they get
important. That's like a
frustrated
good
by that
hill.
too. They get frustrated because it's just like an appreciation goes a long way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like if you can
Yeah.
give someone their flowers for like making a very difficult but moral right decision, do it, go for it. But otherwise, it's like, I don't know, when the scales get balanced, we don't often, we just are happy that they got balanced and we don't credit the maybe effort it took to
And no one
make
will
that.
listen to you like a Libra too. Like if you got a
Mhm.
problem, like and they care about you, now you got, like if they've been jaded, it takes a minute to get that trust, but they'll be like, okay, like let's troubleshoot. Let's, how can I help? Like I can't when I used to bartend and my parents would come in, my dad and I would always laugh because my mom would be like nearly across the bar, like in someone's lap, just about like being like, oh, that must have just been so difficult.
Mhm.
Just so empathetic. And it was like, like, and you can tell this lady gives a fuck. Like she cares. She doesn't know your name. Okay. But you just told her everything about your life. And then she's like, adding in her stories. And, like next thing you know, they're crying. And it's like, wow, do you want another Tito's?
More of a gray goose girl. No.
Yeah.
That's yeah. You're having good like Libra tie-ins in ways I'm like not considering too. I'm still ruminating on the desperation word.
Because it's part of their vibe, man. A Libra will tell you how much that you mean to them. Now I was raised by one, and then I also have very close friends. I've dated, back in the day, and like they will tell you, I mean, like make you feel so seen, like treasured, valued, and then also break you down to the motherfucking studs.
Yeah, because then they have a lot of
I
people's
have never
info,
been
you know?
destroyed harder. Like, and I know we talk a big game about Scorpio. That is a kitty cat. Okay. I can get that. I can get that, I can get that creature under control in no time. I have never been able to get a Libra under control.
Well, Libra, they're so different. Like they're both very relational signs, but Libra is that like I'm trying to think of I know that there's a character. It's the have you seen this is a weird example. This is not what I was originally thinking, but what is that one movie that Mandy Moore was in, the religious movie, you know? And
Oh,
she's like
yes.
it's the I'm good, like I'm good, I'm virtuous,
Yes.
I'm like queen bee. I know everybody's shit, and I put on a smiley face, and everybody thinks that I'm like proper and correct and whatever, but like they keep the peace while also like holding your secrets hostage and
The
above your head,
dictatorship.
you know?
Hmm.
Yes, very, 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 very much a dictatorship. And it's the judge, right? So there's that feeling of like judgment, even though they put on the nice facade, the facade that looks beautiful. The good way to do this, because it's a Venus Saturn mixture, is stoic beauty. It's kind of like what I wrote down, like where it's like you're not overemphasizing the aesthetics of things, but the stoic nature is more quiet and refined, I guess. And it's sure of itself. That is like a good level of rigid energy.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, then Scorpio is different because they'll know it rules secrets, but they're stealthy. They're not gonna in front of your face and in a room of crowded people, like give you that energy that makes you feel bad, you know? Like that while
They're
putting on a smile and everybody thinks like they're amazing, but you're like, how do you not see the way they're treating me right now? You know, Libra can do that.
yeah. No, no,
Very weird.
yeah. These are my signs. These are my people. So I completely resonate with that.
Yeah, I get along with them better, but like I am careful about like information I disclose. Like
To a
we need to,
Libra?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like yeah, especially because can be prone to gossiping. I mean, I had a really good
Hmm.
girlfriend growing up and you couldn't tell, like she would get so butthurt because you couldn't tell. It was like, if I tell you anything, and she's like, but they already knew. And I'm like, how did they know? Because of you. And she was like, yeah,
Yeah,
and they can lie so well to your face. I mean,
absolutely.
what I mean, really anybody can, like, but the thing is that they know they're doing it, but the thing about when a Libra lies to you, they know they're doing it, but they're doing it to keep the peace in order not to hurt you. So kind of the exact opposite of what you were just talking about when they are unbalanced or when they don't want to deal with something. It's like I'm just gonna, but they're so energetic, meaning they can't fake a vibe. They cannot, like, so at least with like delusional signs like Scorpio, um, definitely Pisces.
Hmm. And they do have like, I don't know, it's different than like everybody says Gemini's the gossip. And it's like, sure, but it's not like applying much meaning to like the information it has. It's like kind of
I'd say
doesn't care about a lot. But as a cardinal sign, Libra uses like it's ruled by Venus, the planet of resources, other people, what they have. Are Libra's resources. So if you tell a Libra a secret, they're going to use that cardinal funnel energy to have purpose with like gossiping about you or something, right? So they definitely can
I'm
have that
very selective with
energy.
what I tell. I mean, I'm a very private person to begin with, but when it comes to um like like growing up, my mom would be like, "You can tell me anything," and then I would get in trouble, and I was like, "Well, this was a lie," and so then like later on, like I'd be like, she'd be like, "Why did you tell me?" And I'm like, I also, if someone is mean to me to this day, I cannot, like, there was that meme going around, like, sorry, we can't be friends anymore. Like, I told my mom what you did to me. Like, it didn't matter what age I am. This has gone on forever, but like middle school, elementary school, I'm almost 40. She's still like, what the fuck did she say? And my mom doesn't curse either. She will get so, she will get so gangster about, like, if I call her, like, rarely, like, with something with, like, my feelings hurt, she'll be like, what the fuck? And I mean, and then vicious, like pretty much like, well, her mama's a hoe. And you're like, oh my God, where did this come from? She's like, truth hurts, doesn't it? I'm like, okay.
They could also, I feel like, not cuss and like still tell you off better than anybody. It's like they can make the gentle words hurt.
Yeah. So that's my interpretation. Julie does not cuss. And in fact, watches my stories and is like, did you have to drop so many fucks? And I'm like, yeah, they're
I
well
can't
placed.
help it. I know. I don't think my mom cusses really either. I don't know, Barbara. Let me know. I don't
Uh,
think she does. She's gonna text me, fuck you. I'm kidding. Could you imagine? Just kidding. I do think of Libra though as that like kind of like I don't know, it's the judgmental, refined person where like I think of like you take etiquette classes and the teacher's like looking down on you because you don't know how to use your fucking fork and they're like, you stupid, so
yeah.
stupid. You don't know which side the spoon goes
The
on.
dinner.
Ew.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of like vibe where they can make you feel bad that way, but through like because they're standing on a hill of like outdated social norms and outdated etiquette and whatever,
Oh,
that kind of vibe. Um,
yeah.
and then just thinking, I really want people to think of this too, because there is a lot of Scorpio energy at play this month too. So that we're really coming out of the self-actualization and the self-betterment of Virgo. Now we're interested in applying ourselves to something bigger than us. But
Yeah.
we are really definitely moving into Scorpio, which is the death of things. And so you're really, really questioning, like, what am I willing to be that fucking stubborn about? That if I die, I'll be glad that I laid my life down on that, like that is a
Yeah.
good thing to go down on or whatever. Um, but then it's also like it's not always like it's not real death, obviously in most cases with Scorpio, it's transformation and rebirth. So I think that's the interesting one where people may have choices this month where you're standing on your hill because morally for you or something, it's unshakable, but it could be something that someone else wishes you didn't stand on, right? And you're willing to face the death of that relationship, maybe, right? You're like, I won't compromise. I'm going to stick to my guns on this because you really do believe it's right. That death could end up just being like the catalyst that forces a necessary transformation in that relationship. It doesn't mean you're actually
Mhm.
going to lose that person forever and they die off, quote unquote, in your life, right? It just
Yeah.
could be a fundamental restructuring.
You out.
Yeah. Um, so I really, yeah, yeah. I like this. Oh, and because a lot of the choices you make or the hills you're dying on too, with like Scorpio rules chaos and trauma. It's a lot of really touchy stuff. So Libra is like trying to not get into that. So a lot of those hills that you stand on could actually be just because you're like, I'm I'm avoiding that chaos right there. Like
Hmm.
I'm coming off
I'm
that
choosing
hill
peace.
because
Yeah, I'm choosing peace.
yeah, yes, dude, yes, which is hard with the South Node and Libra right now. I'm sorry. There is like some really interesting, like contradictory energies that I guess like gotta say. Oh, and the only other thing I'll say is like if anybody wants a story, I'm not gonna go into the story, but look up the myth of Sisyphus. I feel like there's some relation to this. I haven't really like pieced it together in my own head too much, but like it's the it's the guy, like a king, I believe, who the like screwed around. The gods like got mad at him and forced him to an eternity of pushing a boulder up a hill. And when it gets up to the hill, it falls down. And then he has to go push it back up the hill for
Oh.
eternity. And there's this cool perspective I read on it. Albert Camus has like a whole like essay on this. And he talks about how like how do you do that? How do you just push a boulder up a hill for eternity? What and how there's no winning. Like that's a terrible situation, right? So Albert Camus was like, in order for Sisyphus to make peace, right, with this hell, uh, you got to enjoy it. So starts to like imagining Sisyphus like having fun with it, thinking happy thoughts all of a sudden, So it's like even in those like difficult moments where you're on a
Perspective.
hill, yeah, and you got to be there. I don't know, like having fun with it. I don't know. There's something to that, like because sometimes we have to stand on that hill, right? Like it could be like I'm not to like throw you in, but it could be a sobriety thing. You're like, I am
Yeah.
not compromising on this. Like, and it could upset all sorts of people. You could be sacrificing fun nights with people, right? But like you
Mm-hmm.
don't compromise it. And that could put you in many of those situations where you're like unhappy. You're like, I wish I wasn't this
Oh
way or
yeah.
something, you know? But then you find you at a certain point, you realize I have to find contentment here. I have to be at peace with this, and I should find happiness. How can I be happy sober? And then you start living that sober, happy life. Imagine Sisyphus all of a sudden having fun, like, "Ooh, I'm building muscle, and now this rock isn't so hard. Look at me
Yeah.
like throwing this shit up the
It's
hill."
perspective. It's perspective. I love that. Yeah.
I know. I thought that was a really cool one. So go look up that thing, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna just gonna like go through these astrological themes. Don't worry, Megan. There's not a whole lot, to be honest.
Hmm.
We're gonna breeze through this. I think the two biggies really are the lunations,
Yeah.
which is
October 2nd, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. And you're not supposed to manifest during eclipses, people. So let's not be doing any of those rituals. Unless you want to do it for the next 18 years, because eclipses happen in storylines and the storylines are long as fuck. So, proceed. Good luck. No thanks.
proceed. Yeah. This is like a good eclipse overall. Like I actually really like this eclipse. I think like air signs and fire signs will kind of have a harmonious feeling with this.
Ooh.
And it could be like, yeah, I think that's good. But then there's also like an interesting water thing going on. Like all the water signs are in a grand trine. So there's like all three water signs are lit
They're
up.
making out. That they're all making out.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
grand
like
trine. They're just like, I love
totally.
you. I love. Yeah, that's what a trine. That's what I think a trine is. It's just like it's a beautiful
Mhm.
threesome.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever's
Like,
there just kissing. I love you. I love you too.
hell yeah. No,
Fuck her
why
up.
not? Why not? Why not? No.
Yeah.
And okay, so it's a Libra eclipse, right? But Libra's ruled by Venus. So what's Venus doing? Oh, she's over there in Scorpio. So there is the depth to it. And
Freaky.
yeah, there's a freakiness to it. But but it's Libra. So there is like, this is a new beginning in relationships to anything, a new beginning in like your moral standpoints, right? Like legal matters, maybe Libra rules all that stuff. But with Venus ruling it, there's this like underlying emotional charge. So if this is a new hill, you're deciding, I think I believe in that and I want to like stand firm in that. Maybe you're learning more about it. You undertake a new 6 month journey here until the end of March. That's when the next set of eclipses are happening. So between now and the end of March, it's like you're looking at hills for sure and new hills, I'd say, new relationships. Um, and contracts and agreements. Libra also just rules that, like the kind of formal and informal promises and contracts and agreements we have with other
Isn't it
people.
wild? I signed a lease
It
during this
is.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a good fated thing. It'll last at least 6
Hmm.
months, you know what I mean? Like I know that.
14,
Um,
baby. Yeah.
yeah. At least six. I know that.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know. Just kidding. But there can be like charged emotions under the surface, that are like maybe disrupting some relationships at this time too. I'm only saying that because, like, yeah, it's a new moon, so yay, it seems good, but it's an eclipse, and it's an eclipse with the South Node. So even though it's a something new coming in, start of a new 6 month storyline, there's a release that has to happen too. So it really can be like, oh my God, like a new amazing relationship is coming into your life that you're gonna love, but it could be through the release of someone else who's like hating the hill that
If
you're on.
you buy a couch, okay, you gotta get rid of the other couch. That's the way that
Yeah.
works, guys. Okay, so like you went couch shopping, you got a great new couch. This couch has done you. It's been nice, but it's time. It's got to go. You can't just couch stack. That's weird. So that's
Hmm.
like you got to make room. There's only so much room in someone's life. Let that couch go.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could be dealing with a lot of like hidden topics as it comes to relationships. Like you're making connections between uh why you act the way you do in relationship. And maybe that's all it is too. Maybe you're just letting Scorpio rule psychology. So maybe you're just letting go of like some of your psychology viewpoints or whatever that have like prevented you from being in really good, healthy relationships, you know? So it could be
Yeah.
like bad things that you're letting go of so you
Yeah.
can enter a better version
Yeah.
relationship.
Why am I the way I am? It also might be like with all the Scorpio influence, it's like maybe you want to be a furry or something like weird, like something deeply suppressed in your sexual nature. And you're like, I'm going to buy a pink dog collar and I want someone to walk me like a dog. But then you feel ashamed of it. And it's like, why should I feel ashamed? I want this pink fluffy dog collar. Yeah.
We're totally going to talk about this next month when we get to like Scorpio energy. But
I
like
know.
that is like this
Yeah.
interesting underlying theme this month. But there's like this funny public
$5.
private vibe going on this month.
Mm.
Scorpio in general has a right to privacy. Everybody does. But like there's a funnier thing this month where it's like Libra's on the surface pretty and like I would never do that. But underneath, there's a lot of
Yeah,
like
right. They're
guilty
freaks, dude.
pleasures.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
might have wrinkle-free attire. They are totally doing ass to mouth.
hmm Oh my God. My favorite movie is Human Centipede. Um, ew, girl. No. Uh, yeah, like, and it doesn't even have to be like that. Like, yes, Scorpio does deal with that stuff, but it can just be any guilty pleasure, any taboo subject, esoteric matters. You could all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you could be living a very like religious upbringing, but you like discover tarot, and now in secret, you're like learning about the tarot deck, and you're like, oh my God, people can't know about this. So that
Yeah,
that interesting like juxtaposed vibe is kind of taking place this month. Notice those
right.
guilty pleasures and the things that
Yeah.
you think you'd be embarrassed of if people found out
Hmm.
that you were like interested in that. I don't need to know that you need to do a whole lot about it right now, maybe if you want to, but just
Hmm.
clock it at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, I think is that I think that's all I want to say about this because we,
Yeah.
we never really know. But okay, so then the next one is a full moon in Aries, October 17th. This marks
Ooh.
the end of eclipse season, technically.
Yay.
But here's the thing. I don't like this. This is not fun.
Oh
It's a
no.
bad full moon.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. I just don't like it. This is like a bad one. And I don't say that often, but this is not a full moon.
No.
This is, a full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposing each other. So imagine a boxing ring. Two
Hmm.
corners, sun and moon. They're always opposing each other. So it's like they're on the same team almost here. But I don't know. I don't want to put it that way. In the other two corners are also two players, Pluto and Mars, opposing each other.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Pluto, planet of death and destruction and trauma and abuse and power and control issues, opposing Mars, planet of violence and weapons, cutting things and inflaming things and aggression, right? Okay, when Pluto and Mars are opposing each other, it is such a war, conflict, violent, deathy war. So like this is like kind
Mm.
of one of those like, all right, if you're standing on a hill at this
Stay
point and
home.
there's like an opposition to you, you could die. You could definitely die. So is that a hill you want to die on? Like at this
Mm.
point, like there could seriously be a permanent ending of things at this point. Full moons are times of endings. It starts a new chapter of some sort because it's in Aries, but like, damn, like this doesn't feel good. Like definitely calm down. Like this is
Gonna be
like
real fun for my Aries, Venus, and Mars, huh? Yeah.
yeah. And this is I mean these are the cardinal signs. The four cardinal signs are like basically all like looking at each other in this like
Mm.
boxing ring here and it's like
I like that you
I
say boxing as I do box like 2 to 3 times a week. And yeah.
yeah. But that's what it is. It's like
I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna no, I'm gonna relax that day.
yeah. You know what this is reminding me of now? Like I'm really just like thinking about this. It kind of reminds me of like someone who, had a hill they were dying on.
Uh-huh.
And then they see the destruction of like that choice of choosing that side or something. And then there's violence taking place that is a direct result of like your ideological belief or whatever.
Hmm.
And I think the face-to-face witnessing of that, it's not keeping the peace all of a sudden. There's the realization, full moon, Libra's so at play. And I think you're kind of like, oh God, like I'm on the wrong hill, aren't I? How did I not realize that? Like, look what's happened here.
But that's great because you can get off that hill and you can change your mind and you can scale off of it and you can always change your mind. So that's, and atone for what you've done.
Yes, 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 yes. It can be a very cathartic full moon. Aries just doesn't handle emotions well. It doesn't. And so Aries
That's so true.
full moons are always a little like, like, where did that come from?
My
People are just
Aries guy
snippy.
friends are some of my favorite people, but like emotionally, I'm like, what in the actual fuck is going on? Like one of my buddies started dating this chick who he really likes, and I was like, listen, I said she's fucking awesome. Like I'm so stoked for you. And he was like, don't talk about like he made this noise that was like, I was like, oh my God, like he had someone pass that was close to him. And I was like, listen, like, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, it's fine. I'm just at the bar. I'm like, it's 8 a.m.
Oh, God.
Do you want me to come get you?
Yeah.
Like, he was like, no. And I love you, but stop talking to me. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So this is gonna be fun. Okay, well, good luck, everybody.
Yeah. And honestly, you saying he was at the bar at 8 a.m. too, just remind me. I like be careful if you're going out at this point. I'm so serious. There's such a violent, manipulative, possessive, jealous, like bad, dark energy to this that it's like if you're going out, you could get roofied, you know? I'm saying this very
Yeah,
specifically because it's like Mars is in Cancer. At the very end of Cancer, by the way, opposing Pluto at the very end of Capricorn, where it will never be again in our lifetime. This is like a final fucking showdown in my mind. This is
yeah.
literally a
Well,
full
you're
moon in
not a
the sign
fear
of your.
monger. So if you're
No, I'm
saying to
not,
like,
dude.
yeah. So if you're saying to, like watch your
I
tits,
just don't
then my
like it.
tits are locked up, son.
Yeah. And I'm saying this also, I think like I'm trying to nail it in my head because like I think it's been weirdly easy lately for me to like kind of forget about the astrology and then something kind of negative happens that I've put fuel on, you know?
Mhm.
And then after the fact, I'm like, why did I do that? I should have fucking known better. Oh my God. Like I knew better. Like this was not the time. This last eclipse in
Yeah, but
particular was that way for me. No, so I'm just saying, like, it's
do
so
you want me to
easy to
remind
forget that
you?
this stuff is happening.
I'll
No, like,
remind
I mean, I'm like trying really hard to remember now. I'm just saying, like, this is not a good one. Do chill out, do something for you. That'd be a really good way to use this. It's just like being reflective on yourself, the ways you keep peace. What are your
have a nice
negotiables?
cry. Yeah, go cuddle with someone who will only bite you if that's what you want.
If you're feeling raw, I don't know, deal with it, bitch. Because
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just don't like it. Okay, and then just a really quick heads up because it's on November 1st. The next new moon and will be in Scorpio. It's on November 1st. So I'm just giving you the heads up because, like
Oh,
you're not
that's
going to have
all.
much time when we put out the November forecast
Yeah.
to prepare for that one, but that'll be a new moon.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have three planetary ingresses. We don't need to spend too much time on this. Okay, there's two planets moving into Scorpio. So let's just say that. October
Yeah.
13th, Mercury moves into Scorpio. And then October 22nd, the sun moves into Scorpio. Scorpio season will officially begin at that point. But,
Woo.
Scorpio, when the sun's there, it's just shining a light on scorpionic subjects. Cool. Mercury is like interesting in Scorpio. I love it because it's a very psychic energy. You know when
Let's
somebody's
deep
lying to you.
talk. Let's talk deep stuff. Yeah.
Very vulnerable, touchy. At its worst, it's like
Yeah.
the trauma dumper, Like, okay,
No. Yeah.
no.
I'd have to remind everyone, like all this week, I'm like, I think what would serve you well is when interacting with people, ask, do you want me to listen or do you want advice? Instead of just launching into advice. Another thing to remember during this time.
No, that is so important. It's so important. And like, in general, too, I'd say after October 13th, the listening idea is really powerful. Like Scorpio, Mercury and Scorpio has probably its best communication through silence. Like you learn so much about what they are
You
not
really
saying
do.
by them being silent. It's like that energy of a interviewer who asks a celebrity a question and then they don't ask the next question. They leave that pause so the person keeps giving more info. That's the
Hmm.
silence that is strategic and stealthy that a Mercury and Scorpio has. So starting October 13th, this is the vibe. Be quiet, pick up on info because you'll connect really interesting dots. But I would caution against like assuming too much
Mm,
or always like we get suspicious a lot with this. So you're picking up on a lot of stuff because it's psychic. Not all of it's yours. Not all of it's true. Not all of it makes sense. Like so if you're starting to feel like yourself being suspicious of someone else but you don't know, like ask them. Ask them straight up and see what they say because the Mercury and Scorpio is going to ding if they're lying to you, you know? Truly. But if they're not lying to you, you're going to be put at ease by just asking. Like, do not
yeah.
assume, do not think everybody's out to get you and has ulterior motives. Like, big trust issue dynamics can pop up with this.
Yeah.
Um, so I just want to say that. But this is where things will get taboo. So notice where your mind starts going into weird, darker spaces, but like it
Mm,
can be fun as well. Like you get really interested, like an investigator. That's what this is.
yeah.
It's a detective. And so you're like, getting in the
Mhm.
nitty gritty aspects of life, but you're kind of fascinated by it. True crime, big
Yeah.
here.
Hmm.
Okay, and then Venus enters Sagittarius. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I I think it's probably a little fun.
Yeah,
Because Sagittarius is the wildfire of the zodiac. It's the last of the fire signs. It's intense, it's passionate, it doesn't really give a fuck. So it's going to put its love on display. But you better act right because and you better treat them with respect because otherwise you are in trouble.
interesting. Yeah, like treating them with respect is key, but they also need to really learn how to respect other people.
Oh
Like,
yeah, they don't do that. No, 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 no. They
damn,
don't. They don't do that. They don't like. It's like it's big. It's a wildfire, so that's what they do. Like they don't care. They will burn your house down. They'll burn everything down, and then later on, they're like, "Oh, that was I've made poor decisions here." And it's like the house is burned down. Did you not see? You burned my house down.
exactly. They're like, well, I just want, I thought it would be fun. I wanted to see what it was like. So,
Hmm.
sorry. What's over there? Like they will hold,
Amplifiers.
yeah, no like social accountability and responsibility with this. I think this is a really difficult placement. I really do. I see it like be problematic. I mean, it is fun. Yes. This is like, oh, October 17th. I'm now
Yeah.
putting all the dates and main things we talk about, by the way, in the show notes, anybody. So you can go like, if you're getting confused on dates and like whatever, there you go.
Mhm.
But it is fun. You're more willing to like take risks and go do things you haven't done before and be with people you haven't met before and like travel can be really fun. It's like there's a zest for life. You're not feeling like a homebody totally with Venus and Sagittarius. It's fun. It's fucking fun. You're right. But they are the ghosters of the zodiac. They are the people who they don't want anybody to put any finger on them. Like, do not hold them down in any way. They need to roam and have all the freedom that they need to do whatever the hell they want to do. So I think it's really important for them to learn that they don't need to ask anybody for permission, but they need to inform people because relationships matter. And you're, as a Sagittarius, it's ruled by Jupiter, the biggest planet in the solar system. They have a presence, a Venus in Sagittarius person, meaning that Venus is ruled by that Jupiter. They enter a room, you know that there's a big presence that just came in, you know? You just
Mhm.
feel it. And like whether you like them or not, it's just they've got this kind of big ass aura. And so you know when they arrive, but then like if you think you can just show up unexpectedly, you might rub people the wrong way because that's going to throw off the vibe of the room. You're not going to sneak right into that party, right? But then also you're not going to sneak out either. If you show up announced, you RSVP'd for a birthday party, you do not think that you can ninja out of there without saying bye to people. Everybody's going to notice that presence is gone now. You are
Mhm.
not discreet, Venus and Sagittarius. You are not like, and it's why I don't like it is because, again, Sagittarius is buoyant and joyful and it's like a good planet. So it's such an optimistic, fun energy to be around. It really is. But we start feeling bad if repeatedly they're not informing us. Again, it's not about like
Yeah.
maybe I'll combat you, because I'm a push a man, as you said.
Yeah.
But like maybe I'll be like, no, don't leave the party, for sure. But you don't owe me permission. I don't need to give you permission. You just informing me was what was important. But if you
Yeah.
just leave, I'm gonna be like, damn, they didn't say bye. Like you feel bad because it's a good
Yeah.
energy that you want on your side. So you
Yeah.
can unknowingly harm other people. You're not even meaning
Yeah.
to. You just sought freedom and wanted to do your own thing. That's fine. But other people fucking matter. And if you want good relationships, don't ghost people. If you're trying to go on dates and it wasn't working out, Venus and Sagittarius is going to totally lead them on and be like, oh, that was so fun. Yeah, we should. I'll text you. We'll set up another date. Ghost.
Never heard
Why?
from them again.
Why do you do that to people? Like, this is that person. It's just like, fuck you, man. Like, they can be so self-righteous in that sense. Like, nobody else really matters as much as they do.
Ew.
I know. I don't like it. I'm sorry. It's a really,
Yeah.
really difficult
Ew.
placement.
Yeah. I don't know if I really have encountered any, any
Oh
Venus
my
and
God.
Sagittarius.
I mean, like, I always make sure I talk about it if I have a client who has this. And it's like kind of without fail, people will be like admitting to ghosting, or
Hmm.
they admit to like their poor relationships. I'd like they will admit to cheating. They're Roman, they're going elsewhere. Like they damn,
Yeah,
it's not a fun one.
I'm surrounded by so many Earth Venuses. So it's like, hey.
Mm. You know how like everybody shits on Gemini again for like it's like Venus and Gemini people like people think that that's the worst thing in the world. Like I
Really?
think a lot of what they oh my God, the amount of times I've literally been blocked by people because of that placement. People find out I'm a Gemini. If they're okay with that, but they're still trying to determine something, they will always follow it up with, "Where's your Venus, though?" If then I say it's in Gemini, bye. They hate that. They fucking hate it. I think it's so frustrating because Gemini's a contradiction and it's not people
Yeah.
don't understand it. But I think a lot of that Venus and Gemini stigma is actually Venus and Sagittarius. Like that's where it is.
Oh, losers. Well, fuck them.
Just gotta say that. I know I feel really bad if you have a Venus and Sagittarius. Trust me, there's so much goodness you can do with that placement. I know we're not talking about it, but it
You
is
can light
zesty. It is
someone's
fun.
life up.
You
You have
can.
the opportunity. You know what you need to do. It's never been easier to like express your feelings via text, like doot 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 send. You don't even have to call anybody anymore. You can send an email.
You can just fucking talk to Siri and she'll translate it for you.
You
Okay.
can chat GPT that bitch.
You could
Please
probably just
break
use
a
the
very
SP.
yeah. Please
No.
do a very nice. I had a nice time, but I don't want to see you anymore. Message.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, good luck. All right. What's next? What's
Okay.
next?
So retrogrades, I'm not gonna go really in depth with these at all. All I want to say is October 4th,
Mm-hmm.
Mars begins its pre-retrograde shadow. We have a long ass. We will get into the theme of this a little later, but like this is a long ass Mars retrograde storyline. It doesn't go retrograde often, but it's about 7 months, a little over 7 months
Ooh.
when it's all said and done. Okay. The pre-retrograde shadow starts October 4th in Cancer. Then it moves into Leo. It will eventually turn retrograde in Leo on December 6th. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
retrograde December 6th, backs up into Cancer again. And at the end of February, like February 23rd, the retrograde finally ends. So December 6th to February 23rd, just a heads up, it will be retrograde, but you may notice those themes start building now, October 4th until December 6th. You got 2 months.
Mm.
Notice where those all I'm gonna say is look at Cancer and Leo in your birth chart. If you are versed enough to do that,
Mm-hmm.
what houses do Cancer and Leo rule? That is where there can be like temper flare-ups, fights, arguments, annoyances, like burnout can happen
Mm-hmm.
with Mars retrograde. It's not fun. Mars retrograde is like that one and Venus retrograde are just like,
I
damn
hate
it.
Venus
Yeah.
retrograde.
But again, it's just annoying. It's just
Yeah.
annoying and it can last longer. It's like an annoyance that lasts longer than it should, but it is temporary.
You know what's some bullshit? Venus goes retrograde on my 40th, like on my birthday.
No,
I
I'm
know.
sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I looked at my solar return chart for the next year ahead and I was like, oh, God damn it. Come on. Give me a break. Fuck.
I just saw that.
So
I was
annoying.
like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna get pretty before that.
I
Get
know.
my
There's a
bow
lot of
tie.
ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. We shouldn't judge. We shouldn't judge these things.
Yeah, that's true.
It's, it's all
True.
neutral.
True that. True that.
Yeah.
October 9th, Jupiter retrograde
Yes.
Gemini.
Yeah. So again, nothing I really want to say about that. at all. Truthfully, it's just like it's going to be Jupiter retrograde will
Oh,
happen until February 4th. So the rest of this year, Jupiter is it's retrograde for a long time every year. It's a good planet nonetheless. The
yeah.
growth and goodness it brings feels more like almost sustainable now. Less instant gratification, maybe a little bit more work to reap the rewards, but rewards are still coming, just slower, maybe not as big, but it is kind of like fine tuning you, especially Jupiter and Gemini is so experimental. A lot of
Oh,
dead ends with that energy of like, oh, let me go try that. Oh, that was boring and led nowhere. Like this is now where you're like, okay, well, I've experimented a lot. Now I'm gonna like double down on the things that I know I enjoy and I know
mhm.
have treated me well, you know?
I like these. Yeah.
I like it. It can also be like internalized energy. So you're starting to see the goodness within the self. You're starting to maybe talk to yourself more. Great positive affirmation energy going on here. Like start a new
Ooh.
positive affirmation practice October 9th onward. And then it can be fun for travel. The desire to travel, the wanderlust within can be big. And then I think the bad side of this, aside from just like maybe a slowdown and some growth, but they're just still growing, is social anxiety. I think that would be a big one people can deal with. You might suddenly just like have a little uncomfortable restlessness, like when you're around other people. And normally that's not the
Oh,
case for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Difficulty like communicating for some reason, not in like a Mercury retrograde way, just a way of like, that like what you're saying maybe is impactful, but you're like, I could have said that better. Shit, I should
Hmm.
have said it this way. Like the full extent of the
Yeah.
potential is a little more restricted now.
Yeah.
And then October 11th, Pluto turns direct in Capricorn. Okay. It will then enter Aquarius next month, November 19th. October 2024 is the final full month of Pluto and Capricorn in our lifetimes. That hill is being leveled. It is dead. Okay. So we are moving on from a hill. This is a
Hmm.
momentous occasion. That's all I want to say. We've talked about this forever. That's it. That's all I want to say. It's just like get ready
Yeah.
because and make sure that really get those hills in order. Like,
It's
please.
time.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah. We're
Yeah.
moving on.
It's time.
Stop holding on to outdated structures and all that shit. Like, please.
Get with the
Um,
program.
yes, like we are done. This is such a crazy grasp for power that is over. Like, let it drop it. That's what it
Hmm.
is. Okay. And then I'm not going to really like go crazy in depth. I was going to, but like, we've already gone longer than I thought. Mercury and Venus. All I want, like, my next theme is just that both of them are really active all month long. And with
Ooh.
both of them, I had like a story that came to mind, like a real story that I think people can identify. The Mercury storyline, I'm not going to go like point by point, but it kind of follows the plot of the Labyrinth, which I think is really interesting because again, there's this theme of the hill to die on, which is like high ground, but there's all this Scorpio energy, which is like underneath things. Scorpio rules
David Bowie.
basements. So yeah, and like labyrinth, that like kind of psychological, like disorienting feeling, even,
Yeah.
especially with all the water energy going on. Like it's the dream. Like, is this real? Is this not? Like, what's going on? Um, I think that movie, if you want to watch it, go for it. But that feels like pretty potent as far as Mercury goes, meaning the mind and communications. So you're like kind of more it's like a puzzle, a riddle all month
Hmm.
long, and they're figuring it out. So you're going deep into something, but I think that that's a cool part of that dichotomy, right? Or that of
Hmm.
vacillation Libra can do too, of like to go stand on that hill. I've had to go deep. I've had to like find something that actually fucking mattered, like dug deep. It's like the girl in the labyrinth, right? Like wishes her brother off, and that happens. So she goes on this big like journey to like find him, realizes how much he fucking matters to her. And so now she's standing on that hill and she's like, I am not going to be tempted by David Bowie. I'm getting my brother back. That's the hill I'm dying on.
Hmm.
David Bowie, get your crystals out of here. I don't give a fuck. Stop it. And she like gives up the temptation of that. Um, Maintains her moral ground, but she had to go through a kind of a pit. I think this is really important,
Hmm.
especially because Mercury it's important because it's also moving into Scorpio, right? Like Mercury is a psychopomp, which is an entity that can move from the earthly realm to Hades, to hell. Scorpio is hell. That's what it is, the
Hmm.
underworld. So Mercury really is going deep while we're also trying to be on a hill. It's a really interesting energy with that. So anyway, Labyrinth for Mercury. Venus's storyline, again, these are all month long. I've literally got like a ton of dates for both of these. Venus's
Mm-hmm.
storyline was the one that like popped in my head right away. I had to think about the labyrinth one. Venus is Cinderella. Like that's what the story is here. There's like a lot of hidden potential and power and beauty, and you know you're worth more than like the life you've been given, you know? And then you have these like chances, like to do something. You're like and bold. But you do it right. You do it without trying to offend anyone. You know, Cinderella trying to go to the ball. She wasn't like, fuck you, sisters. Like she just
Yeah.
showed up, did her thing. The stoic beauty of that. But then there's these sudden elements, like that realization of shit, clock strikes midnight. I gotta
Gotta go
go.
home. Get turned
Yeah.
into a pumpkin. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this idea with this of having this amazing night, fairy tale night, right? And of like, oh my God, the ball. But then you lose your shoe. The prince is like, whose fucking slipper is this? Whose is this? And you start like questioning, like, was this real? Cinderella's back to washing floors. Am I ever going to really get out of this? Was this just this like fleeting dream that I had? This ball, this moment with this prince? That can happen. So you might really question, like, you might have these great moments, but then you're like, but it's that fantasy. And that's actually where I end up with this. Like the second to last thing with the storyline is on the 22nd. That's kind of where the shoe fits. Destiny calls and the
That's when I
prince
pick.
and her.
That's when I get the keys to my new place.
Okay, love, like Destiny calls, bitch. Like that's great. That's great, 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 great. But then is the second to last. October 28th, there's this reality check moment. Venus and Saturn square off. Saturn's in Pisces, idealization, fantasy. Venus and Sagittarius, like it's like blunt, you know, it's a blunt person gonna say and do what they want. This is just it's just a reality check. Like I think even though the happily ever after happens, you get the keys to your apartment and like everything goes smoothly, blah 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 blah. Blah. October 28th is like, oh, but it was just a fantasy. Like fairy tales don't exist. Like, and maybe you landed the prince, right? And you had the glass slipper fit, and you get married. That doesn't mean that it's happily ever after. To maintain that life, you could take some fucking work, right? We're gonna battle each other and have
Yeah, the
issues.
fairy tale requires work. Everything does.
Yes.
I'm just excited to be out of this moldy apartment, you know?
Yeah, yeah. For you, I'm like, I don't know. You'll get
Yeah.
the keys and I'll be great, but maybe then you end up sitting in there and you're like, but I still have rent, and but I still gotta like, it's just like, okay, like,
The fuck?
yeah, like it's exciting momentarily. It's like a fun hill to go up, but then
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, well, I'm brought back down to
And the
earth now.
28th is a Monday too. So
Fun,
fits.
fucking fun.
Fits.
Can't wait.
Fits.
The last day of the last like thing happening all month, by the way, is a Mercury thing. So it ties into that labyrinth storyline, which I just thought was pretty beautiful. Mercury and Scorpio is going to be trine, Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Neptune usually causes confusion and delusion, but it's retrograde. So there's actually like a clarity to this dream that, from the labyrinth. So at the end of the labyrinth, she wakes up essentially, her brother's fine and safe and sleeping in the bedroom, but then she looks in the mirror. Neptune and Pisces rule mirrors. She looks in the mirror and sees all the friends she made in the labyrinth, and they're like, call on us anytime you want. Very beautiful, like energy there of like, oh, this was real. So I don't know. The last thing, even though you get brought back down to earth, the last thing that happens this whole month is this kind of energy of like, but I do believe in magic. The miracles do happen. You know what I mean? Like it's fun. And it's on Halloween, so I guess be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe.
Believe. I believe.
I believe.
Oh God.
So important.
You're standing on a delusional hill at the end of the month.
All day, buddy. I've been nothing but delusional if we're looking, like so. But
my hill is purple.
It all works out. It all works out.
Yeah. It's a lot of, what are these mushrooms growing on my hill? There's some weird shit going on. Then the last thing I have is just like a couple miscellaneous good days, couple miscellaneous bad days. Some of these overlap with other things, whatever. But there's like, these are just aspects. I don't even need to go crazy on this. The three good dates I want to throw out: October 12th, healing through expression, healing through communication. You put a perspective out there, you voice yourself, you tell your story in a way, and it matters and it heals something. October 24th, this is like your personal life, your private life, home, family matters can have a very productive breakthrough at that
Yeah.
point. Emotional well-being, also feeling good, suddenly good.
Excellent.
October 28th. This is about like you're feeling you're seizing opportunities that you feel very guided to take, but it's kind of mystifying you. You're like, why do I feel the need to make that move? I have a hunch that I should do that. I'm gonna go do that now.
Yeah.
And it works out. Yeah. But it's not like reliable. Like I wouldn't use this as a lifelong strategy. It's like
No.
you did kind of get a little lucky with that. Like, but you
Mhm.
listened to your gut, and that was the important thing. So good for you
Yeah.
on that, you know?
Trust yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So do like these. And it's kind of like miraculous. A blessing could happen October 28th. Okay. Bad days, October 13th. Uh Old wounds coming to the surface, really struggling to balance you on your hill and someone
That's a
else on their hill.
Friday. October 13th is there. I'm
Of
pretty sure.
course,
Or
it's a
Saturday.
I was gonna be like,
Let me
damn
see.
it, another Friday the 13th already. And
Oh no, I was
uh,
wrong. It's a Sunday. Okay, good. Never mind.
okay, good. And we may overcompromise October 13th. Like that's the part where we're like, oh, you want me off my hill, and you like just like pencil roll down it, like so
Don't
flimsy.
you fucking dare.
Yeah, it's like don't be
Nope.
such a pushover.
Ugh.
Stand for something, damn it.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know. The next day,
10-14.
Sun in Libra, square Mars in Cancer. This is like relationship tension. The identity you have, the person you are, the way you want to show up in the world is very different than the shit you got to do. You're just like, I can't. Ugh. I think it feels so confining. This feels so confining. You want to do so many things. It's like, I want to go hiking today, but here I am fucking sitting and working and paying bills. Like,
Fucking
you
bullshit.
can't do what you want to do.
Why is
Really
someone
frustrating.
not feeding me fruit? Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, totally. Feed
Yeah.
me fruit. Filled up.
Yes.
I can't. Okay, and then October 22nd, which I am aware is the day. It's the day that you get the keys to your apartment, right?
Yeah.
There's a big destiny moment
Mhm.
on October 22nd. I do like it. Okay, especially if it's related to a purchase. Look at you, right?
Mhm.
Venus stuff. I wouldn't be overly indulgent, I guess, with this. Like, try to be practical, but money matters. Can have productive development and beauty, aesthetics, right? Self-esteem, and then relationship. Sure, but there is a really unfortunate thing too happening, which is Sun in Libra square Pluto and Capricorn. So Pluto is really getting some squares and oppositions that I don't like this month. Pluto is like really giving us a
Run
test.
for our
And
money.
it's fine. It's like, I will not be back here for 250 fucking years. I'm gonna make the most of this fucking. You're on your little
remember.
hilltop over there. I'm on my goddamn mountaintop over here.
Mhm.
Pluto is like making us very aware of that. So October 22nd, even though there can be good relational stuff going on, there can be like a psychological hit, and it can be, these things aren't
Fitting.
mutually exclusive. They can
Yeah.
happen together. Like a person in your life could have a faded, interaction with you, but it kind of can be psychologically frustrating for you to deal with. They might reveal something about yourself, that Venus and Sagittarius ghosting energy or whatever. I don't know. Like it can be a productive thing ultimately, right? It's meant to kill off something in your literal psychology here, or in a way that you behave in relationship. Somebody could call out a relational pattern you have that you've like maybe just started dating someone and they're like, I get the vibe that you're this way. Like I've noticed this about you. And it could be like a wake-up call for you. And it could be like hurtful a little bit. Like they're not mean to hurt you, I don't think. I really don't. But it is a faded awareness of something deeply ingrained in you that needs to die. Okay. So let that die. October 22nd. Like for you, that would, I don't know, in a way, there's this like you're physically moving, dude. That is huge.
Yeah.
Like it's an energetic space. Like moving is like the most stressful thing people go through. So it's like you will have that moment of like, oh my God, there's this goodness happening here, this faded, amazing move. But like there's that psychological thing too. I don't know. If, like my life is different now. It's not gonna be what it was. Like I'm in a different space.
It's the end of an era. I've lived here 8 years, 8. So
You won't be the same person. Space, our environments directly impact our well-being. So what's your new environment going to be like,
amazing, because the numerology of that apartment is 8, and 8 is great.
8 is great. 8 always leads to 10 too. That's one of the first things I learned about in numerology, that 8 always leads to 10. So we can often avoid the difficulties of like 9 sometimes. If we've got a big 8 energy going on, it can lead us to culmination and fruition in 10, which is
Heard
1.
that.
New beginnings. Yeah.
Heard that.
Anyway.
Ready.
All right,
Well,
motherfuckers. What are you guys
good
going to
luck.
be for Halloween? Send us
Yeah.
pictures of yourself in slutty
Make it slutty.
costumes.
Make it
Yeah,
slutty. Be
be
a
a
bad
sexy
little.
psychic.
Yeah. Ooh.
Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll be a sexy psychic.
You know what? I think someone should dress up as you and me.
Nobody's going to do that. Nobody can even see me. And I'm
They
temporarily
just-
off
they
Instagram
just-
too, so you
they
can't
just
go
have to go.
stalking.
I was about to say, is your whole account off?
Oh, I just deactivated it. Numerous reasons, but I'm like, let me not have the distraction. Honest to fucking God. It's just like I'll be back on it, but I needed to let it go for a minute.
Smart.
And I just like am never on TikTok now either. I haven't posted in forever. I don't know. I need to like have my social media resurgence. Anyway, sure, you can dress up as us, but I'm sure you guys have better things to do.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if that's the hill you want to die on.
It's totally start climbing. It's gonna be great.
I want to do a couple's outfit with you, but we're across the country.
I know.
Does this still matter? We just FaceTime each other trick-or-treating all night.
Yeah, look at us. Well, I love you and good luck, everybody.
Good luck. Good
As
luck.
always. Toodaloo.